Hello, welcome to the new video The Love of Milim and Rimuru by BenGrem1234. Chapter 37. The engagement party. The day is finally here. The moment everyone has been anticipating is finally here. The engagement party between Rimuru and Milim. A union that really shocked the whole world. Many people were in attendance and the Kingdom of Tempest was in a very festive mode. Fireworks were in full display in the city and many stores and merchants were in business within the city. In Rimuru's castle, there is a big room that looks like it could fit a lot of people. The room has a big chandelier and it was filled with so many tables and lots of refreshments. This was the ballroom that was built for occasions such as the one that is happening today. The room was filled with so many guests ranging from nobles to commoners. The people in attendance were Western Council representatives, Emperor Elmija and her guards, Gazel Dwargo and his subordinates. Yum, King Yum as he is called now, is also in attendance along with his wife Murin, Grucius and some of his guards. All of Rimuru's top-ranking officials were also in attendance. Carrion and Frey along with their own people there as well. Even Demon Lord Luminous is in attendance along with Pope Louis, Hinata and the other top paladins. Though, people didn't know she was the actual ruler of Lubelius due to the fact that no one has ever seen her before. Hinata brought Shizu's students with her with the invitation that Rimuru gave them. Apart from this people, many other royals and kings were in attendance and so many commoners were also in attendance. The ballroom was filled with different people and many nobles were trying to use this opportunity to curry favor from so many VIPs in the room. In a section of the room, we see King Gazel having a chat with King Yum. "Wow! Look at all this VIPs in one place," Yum said. "Well, this is to be expected. Is not every day that two powerful demon lords gets engaged," King Garzel said. "You said it. From every stories I've heard about Demon Lord Milim, I would never have expected her to want to settle down in marriage and with Rimuru no less," Yum said while drinking his wine. "Demon Lord Milim is called the Destroyer for a reason. Let's just be glad that Rimuru is able to tame her," Gazel said. "I couldn't have said it better myself, King Gazel," Elmija said while coming to them. "Oh great. Is Emperor Elmija herself," Gazel said with a sigh. "What's with that tone of voice, Gazel? Ain't you glad to see me?" Elmija asked him with a teasing voice. "I know you well enough to know that whenever you are being polite like this must mean that you are plotting something," Gazel said to her. "Well, ain't you a party popper? Anyway," Elmija turned to Yum and smiled, "it is nice to meet the new king of the Farmanas kingdom." Yum swallowed a lump in his throat before answering, "It is nice to meet a legendary figure such as yourself, Emperor Elmija Talon." "Pleasures is mine. If you don't mind my asking, I heard that you and Demon Lord Rimuru are very close," Elmija asked. "I won't say very close, but we are friends if that is what you are asking," Yum told her. "Wonderful. Can you please tell me what Demon Lord Rimuru is like from your perspective?" Elmija asked. Yum looked taken aback from the question, but nevertheless still answered, "There is not much to tell you. Demon Lord Rimuru is the strongest being I know. His strength is unrivaled and is even stated to be greater than that of Demon Lord Milim. He is very powerful, but that is not what makes him great. I don't know how to explain it to you, but Rimuru has this air around him that makes you want to rely on him with all your problems. His compassion and wisdom makes others want to follow him. In short, he is a good guy even though he is a demon lord." Elmija looked at Yumi for a few seconds before she smiled. "I can see that you hold Demon Lord Rimuru in high regards, King Yum. I think I have a better understanding of Rimuru's character now." Gazel turned to Elmija. "I can tell you that Rimuru is certainly not the villain the many rumors are making him out to be." "Oh, I know he is not. I just needed to hear about him from a third party. If you'll excuse me, I need to go greet more guests," Elmija said as she walked away. Garzel turned back to Yum. "She hasn't changed. I still can't tell what goes on in her head. Tell me about it. I feel like she was accessing me from deep within my soul. It is terrifying to be honest," Yum said while shivering a little. Meanwhile, in another part of the room, we find a big stairs that was covered in a red decorated carpet. The handle of the stairs was covered in beautiful flowers. At the bottom of the stairs, we find Benimaru dressed in sweet while holding a list. "Can I have your attentions please?" Benimaru shouted. The music in the room slowly died down and everyone in the room kept quiet to listen to what Benimaru has to say. I will like to welcome the main host for this engagement party. Presenting Demon Lord Rimuru Tempest and Demon Lord Milim Nava. Benimaru shouted. The lights in the room died down and a single light was lit at the top of the stairs. The huge doors at the top of the stairs opened to reveal Rimuru and Milim holding hands. Both of them began to walk down the stairs while maintaining an elegance of nobles. Following behind Rimuru is Diabo, Xian and Testarossa. Diablo was wearing his usual butler attire while Xian was wearing an elegant dress which gave a good view of her figure. Testarossa was wearing a dress that makes her look like a rich noble woman. At Milim's back is Frey, Carrion, Carrera and Shuna. Frey was in a beautiful blue dress that got all her right figure. Carrion was wearing a kimono that made him look like a head noble. Carrera was wearing a female suite with a jacket that is placed on her shoulders. As Rimuru, Milim and the others began to descend the stairs, everyone in the room couldn't help but stare at them with a surprised look. They all had their focus on how beautiful Rimuru and Milim were as they were walking down the stairs. Rimuru and Milim reached the bottom of the stairs to see everyone watching them in silence. Rimuru began to address the crowd. Welcome everyone to my engagement party. This is a party to celebrate the union between myself and Milim Nava. I want everyone to eat and be merry for this as a celebration. Once more, I welcome you to my party. Everyone began to clap their hands after Rimuru's introduction speech. Soon the music resumed and the party began on earnest. Rimuru and Milim went to greet some of the guests that were in attendance. Everyone was wishing them well and a happy family. Some nobles were trying to use the opportunity to gain favors and protection from Rimuru and Milim, but they were all shut down. A few hours has passed since the party began and Rimuru was mentally exhausted from all the greeting and talking he has been doing. He went to a table prepared for both him and Milim and sat down to rest. Milim, who was talking with Luminous, saw Rimuru and went to the table he was seating at. What's wrong, darling? Milim asked. Rimuru smiled at her. Nothing much, just mentally exhausted. You have been greeting a lot of people, so it's to be expected, Milim said while seating next to him. I haven't gotten the chance to tell you this, but I love the dress you are wearing. It brings out all your beautiful charms, Rimuru told her. Milim blushed and looked away in embarrassment. Thank you, darling, and you look so handsome as well. Rimuru smiled and kissed her chin, which caused Milim's blush to intensify. You two are as lovey-dovey as ever, Hinata said as she approached Rimuru and Milim's table. She was leading the children there as well. Kenya ran up to Rimuru. Wow, sensei, I never knew you were some kind of ruler. Kenya, you never learn, do you? We're in a party and you are acting like a child, Alice said in a reprimanding tone. Leave me alone, Alice. If you haven't noticed, we are still kids, Kenya said to her. You two never change. Anyway, congratulations, sensei, on your engagement to Demon Lord Milim, Gale said to Rimuru. Thanks, Gale. I hope you all are enjoying the party so far, Rimuru asked them. We are, sensei, Ryota said. Sensei's party is awesome, Chloe said in excitement. I'm glad. Now kids, meet my future wife to be Milim, Rimuru said while pointing at Milim. The kids turned to Milim and came to her side. Hey Miss Milim, are you stronger than sensei? Kenya asked. Milim looked startled from the question. Let me see. I can't say I'm stronger since I haven't fought him at full power. Please Miss Milim, ignore him. He always asks the most stupid questions sometimes, Alice said. Milim's sweat dropped. I will keep that in mind. I like your dress, Lady Milim, Chloe said to Milim with a smile. Why do I feel a lot of rage from this girl which is directed at me, Milim thought to herself. Why thank you. I wore it specifically for Rimuru, Milim said proudly. Rimuru couldn't help but blush from embarrassment after hearing what Milim said. What's this? The great Rimuru Tempest is blushing from a little compliment from his future bride, Hinata said to him in a teasing voice. Well, look at that. It seems that the music has started. Milim, come, let's dance together. Rimuru didn't wait for Milim to respond before he took her hand and ran to the center of the hall where some other nobles were dancing to a slow music. Hinata laughed after Rimuru left. She turned to the children. Do you guys want to dance? We do. They all answered. Rimuru and Milim began to dance to the slow music. Every other person left the floor for them in order to watch their dance. Rimuru and Milim ignored every other person in the room and only focused on each other. They were staring at each other's eyes as they danced to the music. You know, Milim, I am very happy that we are finally together. I promise to always make you happy for as long as I live, Rimuru said to Milim as he dances with her. Rimuru, you're already making me happy, just by being here with me. Thank you for everything and I love you, Milim told Rimuru as he spins her around. Rimuru brings her closer to himself and placed his left hand on her waist. I love you too, Milim, more than words can describe. They both looked at the other in the eyes as their face drew closer, but before they could kiss, the world stopped. Rimuru and Milim felt a powerful aura pass through them. They became alert and looked around only to discover that the world's time has stopped. Everything was frozen due to time being paused. All of a sudden, a portal opened in the middle of the ballroom and in came out Rimuru and the fake Milim. Sorry I'm late to your engagement party. I overslept, Rimuru said as she came out of the portal. Milim quickly changed her clothes into her battle clothes and took a fight stance. Rimuru, on the other hand, remained calm as he observed his female counterpart. I don't see why you are apologizing since I didn't invite you anyway. So, what are you doing here? Rimuru asked. Rimuru smiled. I came here to talk. You and I have things to discuss and other to decide the fate of this world.